Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building.
Breeze Nation, this is the Birds. Don't believe Jordan JC, he lies. He has us locked in the basement.
The best show for Chicago.
Don't believe a word he says. Tweet.
We really doing this on a Wednesday?
Yeah, it's a Wednesday morning. It's a beautiful morning. Where are the birds?
I shut the window. I shut the window.
Chime in like they've got something.
They got to pay to get on the show. I shut the window. I'm tired of hearing them. They're doing it every day, all day. I'm sick of this.
Show the picture of Cousin Dave.
Oh, not Dave. No, not Dave.
Is that his name? Is that Dave?
Dave.
Dave's a nice rotisserie golden brown, baby. Yeah.
Breeze Nation, what's good? It's your boy, Pastor Designer, back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Morning Breeze. Got a lot to get into on today's episode as this is Jordan JC.
Yo.
Caleb Williams showing up to places he don't gotta be.
Man.
And proving he is the leader that the Chicago Bears have needed at that quarterback position. Also, got to talk about who's got the most pressure on him in the NFC North right now from the quarterback position. 6/11/2025, 7:03 in the morning. I'm feeling vibes. I'm feeling good. And you know what, Jordan JC?
Yeah.
Break me off a wing there, brother. I'm feeling a little hungry this morning. Break me off a wing there, brother.
I don't have any for you. Nice try. Nice try.
I don't believe you. Feel like you keep a little wing tucked in the pocket.
Nope.
Yeah, well, you look like a magician kind of guy. A little sleight of hand.
Oh.
All that more in today's episode of The Morning Breeze. Hit that like button. Oh, you bastard. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do.
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the page, man. Stop playing around with us. We appreciate y'all for showing love. George JC, how you feeling this morning, my guy?
Feeling good. Feeling great, man. I got a good workout in yesterday. No birds were harmed, okay? And again, no birds were harmed this morning.
You pushing weight or pushing pigeons?
I don't even have a comeback for that. That was good. Pushing weight or pushing pigeons. I like that. That was good. That was good. That was good. I don't have nothing.
We gonna have PETA on our heels, dog.
I swear, it's gonna be somebody just like we need to stop playing. Some random person's like, free the birds.
Yeah,
have people coming to the outside of my apartment complex with signs rioting.
Little protest outside of Jordan JC's
protest. Yeah, absolutely. Somebody's gonna be in a full pigeon suit with a sign. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
A little caca outside of Jordan JC's crib. I'm not mad at that. Caca.
You all are sick. Oh, God.
Hey, man, listen, I want to start it off here because I thought something that maybe went under the radar yesterday, and because it is practice and people should show up to practice. But we saw Caleb Williams and Roma Dunze both at OTA practice yesterday. And I think what's interesting about that and why I wanted to bring it up today is when you talk about leadership, when you talk about being in a leadership position, when you talk about a quarterback wanting to be the leader of the team, that does not mean that it stops because there's a break here. When you talk about Caleb Williams, Caleb has talked about always wanting to be great, always wanting to go out there and put his best foot forward. And I thought yesterday, seeing Caleb Williams be at the final OTA practice, which for those of you who don't know, the final OTA practice essentially is the practice that is just kind of for the rookies to kind of continue to give them that last, okay, this is what you need to go through the final week of the OTAs. This is what you need to have your best foot forward to make the team going into training camp. And yet Caleb Williams was out there. Caleb Williams was out there still calling the offense, still running things the exact same way as if all of the veterans were out there. Caleb Williams, to me, was proving that not only do I want to be great in this, but my leadership of this team does not stop because some of the veterans are not here. My leadership of this team, in fact, continues on, even with some of these guys who may not be on the team in the long run. I thought that was a big, it's something small on the outside, but I thought inside of that locker room, and you could tell with how guys like Ruben Hippolyte and how Ben Johnson even talked about it, that they appreciated the fact that there's a drive in Caleb Williams to get better and that he wanted to be out there. They didn't have to ask him to be out there. He wanted to be out there. And in fact, that he probably was asking some of his teammates who also didn't have to be there to come as well.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, here's what's impressive to me is that the OTAs in general, spring OTAs, they're voluntary already. And going into this week, like you mentioned, this is where mainly the rookies and then you have your first year players, they're kind of getting acclimated. Those are the ones that are kind of here on this last day or the day before last, I should say. And now you have starting quarterback Caleb Williams here. It also mentioned a few other names: Roma Dunze, Josh Blackwell, Elijah Hicks, Zach Pickens. Yeah, he needs to be out there as much as possible. Doug Kramer, Bill Murray, Karan. So when you have players like you mentioned, that Ruben Hippolyte, when he sees his quarterback one out there with these guys when he doesn't have to be, that again impresses on them, hey, we're about business. This is important to everybody from top to bottom. He doesn't necessarily need to be here. Why is he here? Well, it's because he wants to get better. Ben Johnson mentions that, every little chance he gets to get another rep in, he's there to get it. Like that's the mindset of Caleb Williams right now. Is he's not just saying he wants to get better. It's not just on his phone as a wallpaper. This is legitimately what this guy wants to be. He wants to be great. And you see greatness through the work that you put in when you don't have to put in the work. Like the work ethic for him is at an all-time high, and that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see him out there, passing it to Rome. Rome is also another guy who it doesn't need to be out there. So that's what I love, is that there's an accountability to themselves that, hey, we want to learn this playbook. We want to learn this scheme. We want to get up to speed as much as possible. And so even when we need to take a day off, we're not taking that day off.
Yeah, and I thought the big thing about it too is, right, there's guys on this team who maybe you're not playing with them right now, but could be very impactful in the future of what Caleb Williams wants to do, and he may not have gotten a full chance to work with him. I think about, right, Ozzie Trapillo taking probably those number one snaps yesterday and getting an opportunity to go out there and, as he said, put on my best rep every single time. Caleb Williams doesn't get a ton of time to work with Ozzie Trapillo because right now they're looking at Karan Amagaji at that first left tackle rep. But as we get into training camp and you start to put pads on and you start to see who's going to show out, Ozzie Trapillo could be somebody who does end up winning out that position. Those are reps that could be very valuable as you're heading into the season, because you've got a rapport with players that maybe you're not used to standing behind, or maybe you're not used to standing around. I think that was the big problem last season that we had with a lot of the pieces that this Bears team just refused to move on from, right? When you look at Mr. Day-to-Day himself, right? Like the big problem was Darnell Wright had 0 reps next to this guy. He had no time in practice. You're sitting there trying to get it right, and then you just throw him out there, and you're like, wow, this guy really sucks, kind of. I don't know what to do. He's like, well, yeah, you had no reps. You had no time to get any work in. You had no time in practice with this guy, and so now you're talking about him being thrown out there and put on display, and I don't know how he moves, how he fits in, where my footwork and his footwork are supposed to be at. So to me, like I think that the big thing for the Bears right now, and seeing this from Caleb Williams, is, to me, it signals that as you're heading into training camp, one of your leaders at least has been established. And the fact that it is from the quarterback position, I know people are going to say, well, that's where it's supposed to be. We have seen that not be the case. We have seen that not be the guy that everybody is looking to follow in the locker room. And it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case here with Caleb Williams. And so I'm excited about that. And I think that, you know, like you mentioned with Rome Odunze, those reps are invaluable. Those are the ones where you have to start to ask, okay, like, is Rome going to emerge as that number one wide receiver in training camp here? Because clearly there's going to be more of a relationship built up between Rome and Caleb than Rome and anybody else on this team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You mentioned the time that he had with Ozzie Trapillo getting a shot at left tackle with the starters. It mentioned also too why this time was so invaluable. We got a shout out to Paulie G. What we got?
Paulie G super chat. Yeah, you could have finished your point. We can get to the super chat.
Well, yeah, no. So my point is, like last year in the red zone specifically, Williams was very, very good. 36 of 72, passing as a rookie with 13 touchdowns, no interceptions, good for a passer rating of 96.8. It mentions that this is the area where Ben Johnson figures to have the 12 personnel show up the most. And so in practice, that's what they were actually focusing on. 7-on-7 reps were focused on the red zone near the goal line. It mentions there were a few errant passes from Williams. I think he threw an interception to Josh Blackwell, but he also rifled a pass into tight end Joe Wilson for a touchdown under the crossbar. And
Joe Wilson yet again.
Joe Wilson, baby.
Joe Wilson, he's been getting the praise.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and so when you have that connection with your quarterback one, that's really, really good. That's good chemistry. That's a good buildup. And so for me, I think again, this time these practices, this is invaluable for Caleb Williams' development. Especially in Ben Johnson's system, when you know that he's going to be using two tight end sets, and there's going to be a lot of red zone opportunities for a Cole Kmet or a Joe Wilson or a Colston Loveland. Like that's where Caleb has to continue to improve in. And even though he had a good rookie season, this is a new offense, and so that's why I think it was really good for him to be out there with those guys yesterday. Throwing the ball. And so, yeah, that's another reason why I was impressed that, he's out there with the rookies and the first year players.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to see, glad to see him out there, glad to see him working through it with a lot of these young pieces and trying to help everybody get better, man. Paulie G with the super chat said, random question: if Justin Fields balls out with the Jets and throws for 4,000 yards and Caleb looks just okay because he's in a new system, is that a bad look on polls for not actually building around him? I mean, the conversation will be loud. I'm not going to say it won't. I don't know. I think that when you add the caveat of because he's in a new system, Justin Fields is also in a new system. So conversation will be loud, but we'll see. I don't think that it's like the world is going to end, but maybe.
I think that this conversation with Justin Fields needs to die out, honestly. Like the fact that he has a new team. You got the weapons around you, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. Like, you got some really nice pieces. So if Justin balls out, good for him.
Yeah.
I
want
I'm
him
not
to
going
ball
to
out.
compare. Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I want him to be successful. Ryan Poles had a decision to make. He could have stayed with Justin and he could have built around him, or he could have moved forward and said, what, I'm going to get my guy. He went with the second. He went with the latter, and he got his guy. And he restarted the rookie contract for the quarterback. So, and that addressed all these other areas that we're seeing. He put money into all these other areas that are now very important going into this year, with the protection on the O-line, with all these things at wide receiver.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that's a non-story for me. I mean, we got to move on from Justin Fields. Always will support him in his career. Hope he does well with New York, unless we play them. But my thing is, hey, Ryan Poles made his decision, and I think that he made the right decision, in my opinion.
We also know that Caleb Williams, like, with the worst conditions, that if you're a Bears fan, you got to believe are the worst conditions with an offensive line in front of him that a quarterback has ever been in, even worse than Justin Fields' conditions, because Justin Fields, now he would take off and run a little bit more. So it made the offensive line look better. But, like, we know Caleb Williams threw for like 1,000 yards more, right? Like 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
That's a lot.
I'm just saying. Like,
yeah, let's
I love Justin. Y'all know I was the Justin guy. I was keep Justin on it, but like Caleb Williams' rookie year, he threw for 1,000 yards more than Justin Fields has ever even thought about.
Yeah. And we understand Justin ran 4,000 yards. You know, that's great. But again,
it is great. I think that's what I hope happens for him in New York. I hope they go, hey, Justin, so we know you got this skill set of like runs, so run.
Do that.
Like, I hope that's what happens for him. I hope he's successful. But Caleb Williams got sacked 13 more times than Justin Fields ever did with that running ability. And we know that Caleb threw like 1,000 yards. 1,000's a lot.
There you go.
Just saying. But hey, appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Got a lot to get into still on the show because I do want to talk about that conversation. I think leads perfectly into the conversation we're going to have here because there's a lot of pressure in the NFC North at the quarterback position. I think that you could make a ton of conversation on all four quarterbacks in this division having a ton of pressure on their shoulders. But who has the most pressure? We're going to talk about that and more coming up next. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page if you have not done so. Jordan JC, I don't know if you peeped this or not, but we are over 100 in the chat. We are over 200 in the chat.
All right, okay. All right.
200. Yeah, 200 in the building. If you haven't hit that like button, hit that retweet button, hit that share button, hit that whatever button you got to hit to get this content in your mom's face.
Whoa.
Yeah, tell your mamas to tell your mamas what Ringo used to say.
Is that what he used to say?
Yeah, he used to say that every time. Tell your mamas to tell your mamas.
All right.
Yeah, I liked it. Hit the button is all I'm saying. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors at, is that Aura I see?
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https:/aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. Welcome back. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Stop playing around with us. Tap in with our sponsors over at Aura. They'll keep you safe.
Oh, yeah.
That'll keep you safe. Keep that backside, back door. What'd I say? Keep the
backside.
I forgot what I said on the ad read.
Just committing to that bit.
Keep that back door open.
Close the
back door, I guess.
Close the backside. Yeah, we don't.
You need that back door closed. Tap in with Aura, man. They keep your back doors and windows locked
all
and
that's
closed
locked
and
and
in the
safe.
back.
Yeah.
I know what it is. Stop playing around with me. I'll punch you in the face. Oh, God. It's going to be fun. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in. The show of love as always. Let's keep this thing moving along as talk about Caleb Williams. And I think we had a good conversation there about, some of the pressure that Bears fans are going to look at if, of course, the Justin Fields situation goes one way. But I think you got to look at the quarterback still in the NFC North right now. And I want to ask this question. Does Caleb Williams have the most pressure of any quarterback in the NFC North right now? And the reason that I ask that is because I think you can make a case for just about every one of these guys in the North right now and say there is an immense amount of pressure on their shoulders already. When you look at Jared Goff has to prove that he can be that guy without Ben Johnson out there. And he has a little bit of an uphill battle ahead of no Kevin Zeitler. You lose your starting center to retirement out of nowhere, right? Brand new coordinator in the building, not a different offense that's going to be coming in. But listen, we've seen what happens when a different play caller enters the chat. I think when you look at the J.J. McCarthy situation, J.J. McCarthy coming in for Sam Darnold, who I think a lot of us were like, oh, wow, this guy's career has been resurrected. And then you get out there and look, and they're like, we don't want you. You get out of here, buddy. We don't want you here. To me, I think that's an interesting conversation because you moved on from a dude that won 14 games for a rookie. There's some pressure that is going to be there. And I think maybe there's even more pressure on Kevin O'Connell if you want to have that conversation. Of course, Caleb Williams here in Chicago with everything that has been brought up for him. I mean, like you literally changed the entire process of going out and acquiring people to make Caleb Williams better. You spent money that we've never seen the Bears spend in our lives to go out and make Caleb Williams better. I think that pressure is there as well. And then Jordan Love, $55 million contract. He's been paid. He's been mid at best. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's a solid quarterback that will throw an interception that will absolutely get you out of a game. I think he's also a solid quarterback that can throw touchdowns that can win you the game. I think there has to be a moment, though, where you look at this process and say, okay, is he more than just the interceptions? Can he be more than just the guy who has a hot game, has a couple of cold games, has a couple of hot games, has a cold game? Can he be consistent in his in direction, especially with many people, even me, believe is probably, if not the best, the second best mind in football with Matt LaFleur standing across from him. Jordan JC, I ask you this. Who has the most pressure from the quarterback position in the NFC North?
I got to be honest with you. I love the way you presented this because to me, it was a very obvious answer until you broke down every quarterback situation. My answer doesn't change, but I am giving more thought and, overall to, the other teams that are mentioned, with the Vikings and JJ McCarthy having to prove that, hey, he can replace a quarterback that was a journeyman that turned into a really good quarterback. And then they just poof, vamoosh, gone. So now he has to carry that torch. It's easier when you got one of the better receivers in the league. And like you say, just throw that thing down there. He'll find a way to catch it. But Kevin O'Connell, again, I trust more in him to be that quarterback whisperer, that quarterback coach. He's very, very good in dialing up an offense. And so I don't necessarily see JJ as having the most pressure. Jordan Love's been here for a minute. He's been with Matt LaFleur for a while. I'm not going to say he has the most pressure because he's kind of been who he has been for last couple of seasons. Decent quarterback. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but there are times where you can rattle him and he can give the game away with errant passes, interceptions. And so he's on and off at times. I'm not going to say that the pressure is highest on him. Where I go is Detroit. And the reason why it's not Caleb is because I think, as you mentioned, Jared Goff has to prove now that he is going to be the same efficient, elite quarterback that he was, especially at the beginning of last season, but along with a new offensive coordinator, a new offensive mind and system that's going to be implemented. And again, you mentioned the protection is not going to be as great. Detroit had the best line, but there are a few pieces now that are gone. And so what does that tell you about what how much time he has in the pocket to pass. Jared Goff is not a quarterback that is a mobile quarterback. He is a ideal prototypical in the pocket, fast, quick throws, quick release quarterback. And so, there's going to be more pressure on Dan Campbell to kind of, right the ship after his OC and DC has been gone. So I put the pressure there. The reason why I give Caleb the pass is because it's almost like, how you get that new cable install, and you got that 30-day trial period or that 60-day trial period where it's like, okay, let's see if this works or not. I think that's the excuse that Caleb has right now with the new install and the new offensive scheme and things of that nature that Ben Johnson is trying to put here in Chicago. Caleb kind of has a pass as this is brand new. This is something that we're just now trying out. And so the pressure is going to be on him to learn and to develop and to get this system quickly. But it's obvious and it's going to be understood that there's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be mistakes. Like, we expect that. It's not something that he's used to just yet. And so I put Jared Goff at number one clearly.
Paulie G with the super chat. He said, I'd say Williams has the most just because most scouts agreed he's generational. Goff was traded to a dead franchise at the time. Love is talented, but still raw. He a little late in the process.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
You can't be raw 3 years in. Vikings QB coming off an injury. So, you know what? You do got to play the injury card in there as well. Also, Kevin O'Connell literally can just turn around and hand the football off. Shout out Paulie G. He hit at the Riverboat, supporting the channel with the super chats yet again. Shout out to Paulie G as well.
Shut up, PG.
I love it. Whenever I see Much just rocking, I'm like, oh, did you hit with the Riverboat again? Oh, shout out to you.
$15, $20,
PG.
$10.
Bam. Paulie G. Hey, Paulie G done came in here and dropped some bands. I ain't gonna lie. Paulie G done came in here and dropped some WAP.
Appreciate the support, for real.
Love Paulie G, man. Not just for the money. Love him as a supporter, but the money does it. But no, I think that here's my take on it. There is no one that is under more pressure than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is the only one of these four quarterbacks who was the number one overall pick. I may be wrong on that. Was Jared Goff the number one overall pick?
Yeah.
He's the only one of these four quarterbacks who's been the number one overall pick in the last 3 years. I was like, wait a minute. Jared Goff was definitely the number one overall pick. He's the only one of these four quarterbacks who, when you look at teams giving the quarterback what he needs, has gotten it all. There is no question. You went out and you got the best play caller that was on the market. You went out and you got the best running back coach that was on the market. You went out and you got the best defensive coordinator that was on the market. You went out and you got the best, I'll throw it in there, wide receiver coach that was on the market.
Absolutely.
You went out and you got the best starting center that was available. You went out and you got the best left guard that was available. You got Jonah Jackson. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you, Jonah. Like, there's so much that was given to Caleb Williams that there's no doubt in my mind that he has the most amount of pressure on top of getting that generational label. I don't even think it's close when you talk about this. Here's the thing with Jared Goff for me. The protection. Losing your offensive coordinator is going to be massive no matter when it happens. Right? It is. It's going to be big. It's going to take time to adjust. It's going to be a tough situation. Then losing Frank Ragnow. On top of that, you lost your offensive coordinator and your starting center. You're going to look at Jared Goff and be like, well, of course, things are going to be a little bit difficult. Like, even if they come out and they win like 9-10 games, we'll be like, yeah, I mean, you lost a lot. You got to adjust. You got to bounce back. In fact, I would say if they win 9-10 games, we will give Jared Goff credit and Dan Campbell credit for being able to stay above 500 with the situation that he's in. JJ McCarthy, I do think that there's pressure there. But I think having J.J. McCarthy be the starting quarterback is also something that creates pressure even more on Caleb Williams and puts that spotlight more on Caleb Williams. The reason that I say that is, Jordan, JC, how many of Caleb Williams' contemporaries has Caleb Williams beat? So those guys that could have been drafted by the Chicago Bears, or those guys who could have been taken the year earlier by the Chicago Bears when they did end up trading that first round pick. He lost to CJ Stroud. And then CJ Stroud tried to like grab the jersey and was like, come here, I want to tell you a story.
I hate it. Oh, I couldn't stand that.
I know it irritated you. You ended up beating Bryce Young. You beat Bryce Young pretty bad. That was fun.
Sure. Yeah.
You got drubbed by Drake May. You're clearly behind where Bo Nix is at right now.
Yeah.
And now this is the next opportunity you have. Opening day, prime time, Monday Night Football. Can you imagine what the story is going to be if he loses to J.J. McCarthy, who's the other quarterback in that draft, the fourth quarterback in that draft? Now, I think it's different if, JJ goes out there and he throws for like 130 and he hands the football off a ton and we get run over versus, and Caleb Williams goes out and has a 350 night, right? Like if Caleb balls out and you go, oh, he's clearly a better quarterback, I think that's a different conversation. But where it's at right now to me, if it's even and the Bears find a way to lose, I think that puts all the pressure on Caleb Williams. And then the thing with Jordan Love is like, Jordan Love is fine. Not great. He's not terrible. He's fine. There are moments where he's going to play great. There are moments where he's going to play bad. He's fine. I don't think that adds any pressure. The $55 million to me, while it does add the pressure, he got paid the going rate for quarterbacks. Like freaking Sam Darnold just got paid a bag.
Yeah, you weren't going to not pay him.
Sam Darnold got paid a bag to go to all the conditions that are going to make him worse. Sam Darnold is terrible outside. Sam Darnold is terrible in bad weather. Sam Darnold is like all these things that are going to make his game worse. The Seattle Seahawks were like, let's pay him.
He doesn't have Justin Jefferson. Yeah,
so
exactly.
Doesn't have Justin Jefferson. It does have Jackson Smith and Jigba though, which
that ain't Justin Jefferson.
Jigba dog. Jackson Smith and Jigba dog. We not. Now he's not Justin Jefferson, but Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Come on, man. Yeah, I understand.
I'm just saying, it's not like he got
different tiers. No, he has somebody.
He'll lose DK.
He lost DK. Oh yeah, and Cooper Kupp. That's a good call out. He
got good weapons. He got good weapons.
Decent weapons.
But hey, man, I think it screams that Caleb Williams has the most amount of pressure on him, because even in other situations where other quarterbacks are coming in and maybe have the pressure on them, that also puts pressure on Caleb Williams if he ends up losing to them.
You make very valid points for Caleb, and I see a path where that makes sense. But I'm sticking to my guns. I know some people may not agree with my take. I guess the reason why I'm thinking,
I think it's a valid kind. There's pressure on all four of these guys.
No, but here's the reason why I keep going back to Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions, because I'm also pairing it up with the team expectation from last year. Like the Chicago Bears were 5-12. Once they lost to Washington and their season went down the drain, they didn't keep up with all the amount of winning that the division was doing. I knew that the season was over. And so going into this year, if you want to talk about which team has the highest expectations based off of how they played last year, to me, I still go back to the Detroit and Jared Goff, because one, when you got to the playoffs, you were injury riddled on defense. And so should you have been beaten by Washington, or did that just look like that because you didn't have your full team and a healthy roster and Aiden Hutchinson, the right guys there to actually continue on that streak, because you ended the season 15-2.
Yeah.
Like you had an epic season. And so I think the pressure to get back to that, when you have a winning organization now and Dan Campbell has built this thing up to the point where it's respectable now, I feel like the pressure's all on them to repeat that. Maybe not go 15-2, but but still be the best in the division, and then go further, not be a first round exit. If the Chicago Bears happen to get to the first round and exit, we're happy because that's better than anything they've done in the past couple of years. So even if Caleb Williams, I don't know how long, like
the first round since 2019,
yeah,
2020, about 5 years. We played New Orleans.
So it's been a second, and my thing is, yes, Caleb Williams, yes, versus his counterparts. He is not number one on the list. You know, he has lost to Drake May. There has been some issues versus Bo Nix, of course. We know Jaden Daniels. We know that. You know, he won Rookie of the Year for Offensive Rookie of the Year. So my thing is, there is an uphill climb for Caleb. There is expectations for you to be the so-called superstar and the quarterback that changes this franchise around. I get that. That is all on his back. However, I guess when you look at it from a wider lens and you look at the entire team and the expectation of the team, I still go Detroit, because if they fall off the face of the earth with all of their losses, it's going to be like, oh, well is Jared Goff just another mid version of himself again? You know, what happens? So that's why I stand pat with that.
Yeah, listen, that conversation is there. I just think it's a tough conversation to have on Goff, knowing like I lost my starting center. I lost Kevin Zeiler. I've lost my starting or my offensive coordinator. I think even defensively, I think the biggest loss is going to be Aaron Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Glenn was calling a defense that was still competent while people were just dying around him. Get up! Oh, he's gone. Oh,
somebody else about that. Yep.
Cover two.
He's gonna have to get out there and play himself. Yeah.
I thought we were gonna see Aaron Glenn back on the field, man. But I think that's where it gets tough. You know, like there's a lot that happened, and I get it. We can just assume it's gonna be fine. Everyone's gonna come back. It's gonna be kumbaya. It's probably not just gonna be fine.
Mm.
It's probably not. Now, if it does, I said it. Dan Campbell's up there with the John Harbaugh's. He's up there with the
you put Matt LaFleur in there.
Tomlins, he's up there with it. All those guys who aren't the guys calling plays, and they're able to bring back other coordinators who are able to have an impact on the team and keep the winning ways going. I'm not saying Dan Campbell can't do that. I just think it's an incredible uphill climb when you talk about losing Ben Johnson, who we all know has been so innovative for that Detroit Lions offense. When you talk about losing Aaron Glenn, who I think has been an absolute godsend for the defense that the Lions had over the last few seasons that was getting banged up time after time. So we'll see what ends up happening here, and hopefully, they all suck. But I think that when you talk about pressure in the long run, it's tough for me to look anywhere else but Caleb Williams. The biggest thing that I will say, though, coming out of all of this is I think if you want to look at a coach, and maybe we got to have this conversation as well heading into tomorrow, is there a coach with more pressure on him right now than Kevin O'Connell? Like,
that's a good question. Yeah,
like that's one of those where I'm like, bro, you moved on from a 14-win quarterback to say this kid's got it. This kid better have it.
I think they thought investing in JJ McCarthy into the draft, I think they were already looking past Sam Darnold and using this year as maybe the year where he learned under Sam, and they didn't expect Darnold to just ball out the way he did. And it was like, all right, well, we've already invested in this guy. We're going to have him sit 2 years under his rookie deal. That doesn't make any sense. Like, nowadays, quarterbacks don't usually sit, especially rookie quarterbacks that are drafted in the first or second round. Like, you want those guys to play on as cheap of a deal as possible so you can address other areas. And so for me, I think their mindset was, oh, well, yeah, he balled out, but now let's just package and trade him away for as much as we can get for him and invest in our rookie quarterback who looked like he was good in what is it, in the offseason, or not the offseason, in the preseason.
Yeah.
Before he got hurt. He had a couple of good quarters. And so now we just need to move forward with him. Like, that's the choice we made. That's the bed we made. Now we got to lay in it in a sense.
Yeah. And we'll see what ends up happening this season. Maybe we had that conversation tomorrow, but I think right now where the Bears are at, you feel good, especially coming out of this offseason program. You feel like the pressure's there, but it almost feels like they're ready for it.
Yeah.
Like the part that I love about Ben Johnson and the part that I love about, kind of the mindset that he's instilling in this team is they're not running from anything. All these mothers want to come to, oh, you never had a 4,000-yard passer. He's like, give me a year.
Yeah.
Ben, we've never had a quarterback throw 30 touchdowns. Give me a year. Ben, we've never had a franchise quarterback in this franchise's history. Give me a year.
The face.
Ben, we've never had a dynamic offense that lasted for more than one season. Give me a year.
Give me a couple.
You know what I mean? Like look at the difference here. We got give me a year. Fuck.
God. Total complete right there.
Now, LaFleur, what are your thoughts on Jordan Love? Why? Drop a couple FGBs in the chat.
FGB. No, man, it's utterly ridiculous.
Oh God! But no, I think that when you look at this Bears team right now, I'm excited to see kind of where things are going to go, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun this season. And now we've got 7 weeks of nothing to talk about, so let's have some fun. Let's get wild. Let's get crazy. Actually, we've got something special coming for you guys. Weekly, we're going to be doing a special episode when we're all together. We're going to be looking at the season, and I think it's going to be fun. And just like I said, give me a year. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in the show. I love it. They're like, button, subscribe to the page, 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. As always, from Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC. It's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love.
The best show for Chicago sports.
Give me a year.
Give me a year.
You want all those pigeons going, everybody? Give me a year.
What?
No more birds. We 1 year.
Dave!